Eagles. Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Monday morning edition of Birds 365 as we kick off another week here, just 10 days out now from the 2026 start of the NFL Draft, coming off the heels of a weekend and a Friday trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. Johnny Mack, how you doing on this Monday morning, my friend?
Doing well. Inside of 2 weeks now. NFL Draft. It's almost here.
Yeah, getting real close, Johnny Mack. Real close, Johnny Mack. And how much will the draft plans change, John, after the Friday evening? What that sucker landed at, like, what, 5:30, 6 o'clock on Friday evening,
Yeah.
that trade? How much does the draft plan trade after the trade for Dontayvion Wicks on Friday evening, which we did not talk about yet on Birds 365. We did do a segment on the channel, but the Eagles sent 2 draft picks to pick up Dontayvion Wicks and extend him, adding to their receiver room. John, how much does that trade change the draft plans?
Yeah, I don't think that much, other than I do think it makes it a little less likely that they factor in a receiver at 23, if they even pick at 23, which they probably won't, but first round we'll use. I think it's a little less likely. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think the sweet spot is the second round anyway. And I think they're still going to add a receiver, but it's probably going to be in one of those second round picks. Well, one of those 54 and 68, second and third, day 2 picks. So, little bit, but not a lot. I don't think it precludes them from taking a wide receiver. In fact, I think they're going to still take a wide receiver. I think it's pretty clear, because, I'm on the people don't want to hear it, but I don't think AJ is going to be here. So I don't think Dontayvion Wicks and Hollywood Brown and Elijah Moore are good enough to, you still have to get another body to help Devontae Smith.
Yep, we'll see. We'll talk a little bit more about that, Johnny Mack. John, we haven't done it here on Birds 365. So for those who didn't catch our segment on Friday evening talking about Dontayvion Wicks, what did you think of the trade? Eagles sent 2 picks to them, a 2026. Was it a 5th round or 6th round pick or 5th round pick? I got to pull the trade.
5th this year and 6th next year.
Right, that's what I thought. So 5th this year and 6th next year. They get back Dontayvion Wicks. They extend him to a 1-year, $12.5 million deal. So he's under contract for, I think, 2 years and 15 or 16 million, somewhere around that range. What do you think of the deal as a whole, Johnny Mack?
Well, I don't mind giving up day 3 picks. Anybody who listens to this show knows that. So, I don't want to call him a proven player, but he's had 39 receptions his first 2 years, 30 last year. But he has kind of made plays here and there in Green Bay, and they're kind of backed up at wide receiver. So, makes some sense from both perspectives. Not a speed guy. I see some back and forth. This guy's he's not a deep threat. He's like a 4-6 guy coming out, which is not good for a receiver. It's a really good route runner. So to me, this, and it should be no surprise, because he comes from Green Bay, and it's where Sean Mannion comes from. And you start thinking about the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan style offense. And this is a guy who can be a possession receiver in that and get separation and create those quick timing passes, and be open. But again, do you have the quarterback to pull that off? Do you have the quarterback where you want to try to pull that off? That's a bigger theme. That to me is a far bigger theme that overshadows everything else. But for the Shanahan McVay offense, he's a pretty good fit. So just another highlight of, they're really doing this. And we're going to see what it looks like.
Well, expand on that, John. They're really doing this. We've been monitoring the John McMullen trade meter. We've gone back and forth with people in the chat, some who think he'll be back, some who think he's as good as gone. This latest move is another indication, John, of what to you when it comes to AJ?
Well, it's certainly that leans towards he's not going to be back, but it's not slamming the door. You're not. Oh, we got Dontayvion Wicks. That's a wide receiver too. I don't think it's that either. So, but what's evident, and it goes far deeper than Dontayvion Wicks. Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore. You have all these insurance policies. Howie's doing a lot of insurance for the assumption that AJ Brown's going to be back. Like if the assumption was that AJ Brown's going to be back, maybe you sign Hollywood Brown, maybe you trade for Dontayvion Wicks. You probably don't do both, and you're certainly not picking up Elijah Moore, even though people have done the conspiracy because he's close with AJ. And you're going to, draft a receiver probably. I mean, for those in that camp, take some time. Be prepared is all I'm saying. Be prepared for him not to be here. Now, I've also said I never go to 100 with Howie because, he's stubborn, and New England or somebody else isn't going to give him what he wants or what he feels is enough value. He might take it into the season. So, but he's doing a lot for those who want to stick their head in the sand. He's doing a lot of insurance for a guy who's going to be here, because the assumption from those people is, oh, he's never on the trade market. You're all lying. Oh, he's doing a lot of negotiating. He's doing buying a lot of insurance for a bunch of people lying.
I'm with you, John. Looks like AJ Brown will be gone. Dontayvion Wicks has landed. Solid player. John, what do you think of the extension?
Yeah, a little bit high for, where he was, but
did you see the full numbers yet or no?
Obviously it's a projection. No, up to 12.5, but when you factor in the fourth year, it's 8 million from their perspective. Right. So decent number. Certainly more than it certainly tells you they think this guy's going to be a part of the offense for the next 2 seasons. So, it's a clear indication of that. Not going to hamstring you if you get it wrong, but a pretty good indication that they project some good things out of this particular player. But not going to get open. So, it's about, and by that I mean one-on-one, he's not the great athlete, doesn't run. What he is a great separator with his route running. And again, that's timing, that's anticipatory. Ball's got to come out.
Yeah. And
then he's going to be fine.
And you see that as a conflict, I'm sure, based on what we've talked about all summer?
I don't, it's not what I would do. It's how I describe it. If I had this particular quarterback.
Some might think, John, why the Packers trading Dontayvion Wicks? He's 24 years old, a young dude, man. He's going to turn 25, I think, this summer.
Well, right off the bat, they have
Christian
Watson, they have Jaden Reed, they have Matthew Golden, who was their first-round pick last year. They have Savion Williams, who was their third-round pick last year. So right there, he's 5. So it's one of those situations where you can wait, you can play out the season, and that's nice depth, and get a potential compensatory pick. But what's that compensatory pick going to be if he's not playing? You're lucky to get a 6th or a 7th. And you got 2 picks. You got a 5th and a 6th. So it makes sense from their standpoint as well. Just because they're deep at wide receiver, and he wasn't going to be a part of their main focus, barring injuries. So makes sense from their side as well.
John, you think Howie's lost a little leverage here on A.J. Brown because it almost seems like everything is pointing to what the Eagles are going to do? And if you're a team that maybe wants A.J. Brown, do you just sit there and wait? And if you want to force Howie to wait, which you've insinuated Howie would do, which I agree with, but does Howie want to go into the start of a new year with a player that he doesn't really want on the team, with a new offense, a new coordinator, and all those different things? I mean, there is a chance that Howie wants to cut bait before the year starts. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear he does, but the point is he won't if he doesn't get what he wants.
So he's willing to bring AJ back for the start of the year if he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah,
is that the right move?
Probably not, because long term he's not going to be here. Is he going to be happy?
You don't see it as a problem for the locker room or for Sean Mannion.
No, he's no. I don't think.
Well, just because the only reason I say that is because look, it's a high pressure job here for Sean Mannion as a first year coordinator. You know, you got AJ Brown chirping again. Like that's not going to make his life easier.
Well, I think the bigger issue is, you're obviously, if he's here, he's a big part of the offense. So, you're throwing Sean Mannion in. All right, you got AJ Brown, but you got AJ Brown for 8-9 weeks or whatever. And then you got to change it again. Like I don't like it. I don't, you want to set up this thing to be as smooth as possible for Sean Mannion. And you're still going to have growing pains. Just that's just the way it works. But, you all of a sudden you give him AJ Brown, then you pull it out the rug from underneath him. Does that sound like a good idea? I don't know. So, I mean, look, by all indications, the Eagles were working hard to move AJ during the sort of combine and start a free agency window. Wasn't able to get done. You have other windows. The draft will be another window. Post June 1st will be another window. But everything he's done indicates he's trying to move them. And if that's the case, and picking up players like Wicks and Brown, most notably, indicates it as well. If that's the plan, and it's pretty clear that's the plan, you don't want to just derail the plan because of stubbornness.
Agreed. We'll see what ends up happening with that. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Johnny Mac just 10 days out now from the NFL draft. We're going to have Jeff Kerr on this morning. Looking forward to talking to Jeff, who's been writing over at Sports Illustrated, doing a great job with you, Johnny Mac. So we'll talk to Jeff Kerr a little bit today. Looking forward to seeing kind of what unfolds this week. John, a little bit of draft news came out this weekend on Ruben Bain, which I found the timing of it suspicious, but I will save that remark after I get your thoughts here. Your thoughts on what kind of unfolded with Ruben Bain, a story about a prior accident that occurred. Somebody resulted in the loss of life for somebody. This was several years ago. And now it's kind of resurfacing here right before the draft. Did you read into it? Did you get any intel on it? And what do you make of it? These stories always pop up, John, as we get closer to the draft, man.
No, I didn't really delve into it that much because I don't think he's that relevant for the Eagles. But just from the standpoint, yeah, I mean, it was litigated civilly already. So, I mean, it was out there as far as NFL teams were concerned. So I don't think it impacts the process from their perspective. But yeah, I mean, we've seen it in the past, whether it's Laramie Tunsil, things come out, and generally it's because somebody hopes he falls to them. And we'll see how it shakes out, but I don't expect him to drop out of the first round or anything like that. And yeah, it's part of the shenanigans that goes on with the NFL draft. Not trying to, obviously, very serious issue, but it was known to NFL teams before it
Well,
was
that's what I
known
don't
to
like
the
about it.
general public.
Yeah, it's like the NFL teams knew, which they should know. I mean, I'm not again, I'm not excusing it or anything like that, but like, why does it come out 2 weeks before the draft? Like, it just that stuff. I mean, I don't know. Just nobody wanted
Like,
to talk
yeah,
about it.
there's a lot of shady things going on in this industry, like any industry,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
teams are trying to, in the corporate world, it's they have corporate spies. I mean, I mean, you do shit that's untoward to try to get your positive outcome.
Yeah, that's the word, John. That's like the word of the week. We're going into week 2 with that being the word of the week. Untoward.
So I'm using it too much. Well, there's so much untoward in the NFL as a whole. Yeah, these generally these people would sell their soul to win. And you got some unethical things going on. And that's nothing new. It's been around forever and it's not going anywhere. That's why you need to have confidence in your draft board and your process and try not to listen to the outside voices. And most good teams do, certainly the Eagles do. But yeah. And that, now that, our buddy, I like to bring up every year, the average NFL draft board is like 125 to 100 to 150 players. I think a lot of people don't understand that. And then I always tell the smallest I've ever heard of was Bill Belichick, who I think did
75, right? You said
75.
Yeah, it's
He had
crazy.
it
That's
whittled it
crazy.
down to
Yeah.
75. Now, he didn't have a lot of picks that year, but he whittled it down to 75. The point being, and I say this because, our buddy Rick Saratella put out the NFL Draft Bible, and Dane Brugler put out his last week, and you have like 500, I forget. They're looking at five. So when you look at these things and go by Rick's book, I recommend it highly, NFL Draft Bible. When you look at these things and you look at the charts and that's what I say about offensive line. Like, the Eagles aren't going to like all those players. The Eagles have ruled out some of those players. Now, can I tell you which ones? No, of course not. They're not going to assume, but it can, and by the way, it's not, they might not be a scheme fit. It might be a personality thing. It might be something in their background that they don't like that happened before. It might be maturity. It could be a million different things, but the whole idea of, so many people going, well, this is the 13th receiver. You didn't get this, so go get the 14th one. It doesn't, it doesn't work that way. So, the Eagles will have 125 to 150 on the board, that they feel that they could fit their program at this particular time. And most teams are in that sort of realm. And so I think people, I try to say it every year, but I think people need to understand that a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a good point by you. John, is there one player right now that sticks out as a clear fit for the Eagles that you like? And earlier in the process, you liked Blake Miller. Now, I'm not saying you were like, oh, got to pick Blake Miller, but that was kind of your guy earlier. You were like, I like Blake Miller. If I'm going to take one pick, or not, maybe not you personally, but you like him for the Eagles at that spot. Is there one guy right now that sits there as you stand 10 days out from the draft that you kind of feel that about right now?
No, not right now. And part of the reasons why is because I think they're drafting offensive line in the first round, and I'm not sure if they're going to continue with the Jeff Stoutland mantra and critical factors or go in a different direction, as Howie said. It's going to change a click, whatever that means, to more mobility and more athleticism. But just knowing how he's going to go for the upside more than not, so I'm starting to lean more towards Max Ionacre, or if they stay at 23,
Right.
they probably
It does
won't.
feel like a lot of these O linemen could be off the board.
Yeah. Now Blake Miller I think he has a very big floor, but that's not as important to the Eagles as it is to me. Floor is a prospect, and he's just going to be a solid, but the upside probably isn't similar. And they like upside guys. So it's a give and take with the first round pick because you want them to be able to contribute right away. But in this instance, you do have that. You got Lane Johnson for one more year. Congrats, by the way. Lane got married over the weekend, so congrats to him. So you do have that ramp up period. And so, it's what I'm doing this week. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing at offensive line. Now, they've looked at a boatload of offensive line. You can see what they're also doing is that they're, in case they don't get the guy they want in the first round, they've looked at a ton of sort of the second tier tackles. And, I'm talking about guys like Drew Shelton and Isaiah World and Jude Bowery and specifically Markel Bell and Travis Burke. So you could see, well, if they don't get the immediate offensive lineman, maybe the board falls where they have to take an edge rusher. Maybe the board falls where they have to go wide receiver. I doubt it, as we just talked, but you never know. Then they have that second layer that they've done a ton of information and due diligence on. And they, day two, you look at guys like that as the potential longer term answer. And in a lot of ways, maybe that would be easier to do because you can, if you draft Markel Bell in the third round or Travis Burke in the third round, because they seem to be no longer day three picks. You're not going to have that immediate, he's got to get on the field, and you have some time. So you can see what they're doing. And the fact is, as I said, so if you see at the top, so you got Mauigoa, you got Proctor, you got Fanu, you got Lomo, you got Miller, you got Freeling, you got Ionacre. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential first rounders. Plus you got the guards. Vega, the kid from Penn State. Chase Besantis, the kid from Texas A&M, who they brought in as well, potential late first rounder. So they have just looked at every offensive lineman under the sun, which tells you they're trying to get an offensive lineman, and they will get one, certainly. But if you're a betting man, I would bet on offensive line in the first round.
Yeah.
But even if they don't get it because of the way the board falls, they're going to get an offensive lineman pretty quickly on day two.
Any chance Howie Roseman shocks the world this draft? Sometimes he does that, Johnny Mac, where he'll make a bold move. Traded pick 18 for A.J. Brown several years ago, things of that nature. Drafted Jalen Hurts with the second round pick in 2020. Any chance Howie makes a move here in this draft that leaves you speechless? Not us, but you speechless.
Well, it would leave me speechless if he picks at 23. That's what would leave me speechless. Especially his recent history. He's moving. It's just a matter of where.
Right.
So staying put would kind of shock me.
I mean, unless it unfolded like last year, right? Where you hear they're trying to trade up several different times and they're never really able.
Well, even last year they traded up.
A couple spots or something?
One spot, didn't they?
Yeah. The Chiefs, right? They traded up to 31 or was it 30?
31. Yeah, 31. They traded up one spot. So even last year they traded up. But yeah, So that's generally been his history. The only question is trying to figure out who that player is. Not a lot of people had Jahad Campbell on their list last year because he's an all-ball linebacker, and I still don't know why he drafted him, because if you go back to his immediate comments when the guard is most down, he's talking at him like he was Micah Parsons. Well, he can play all-ball linebacker, but we really think he's got upside as a pass rusher. And then Vic got a hold of him and said, "Yeah, he's not a pass rusher."
Do you think in hindsight, if Howie knew what Campbell would become, he still would have made that pick in terms of him becoming a linebacker?
Well, I think the real question is if Howie knew Nakobe Dean was going to come back at the level he did, would he have made that pick?
Right. That's a fair question too.
I think that's the bigger question. But, maybe that's revisionist as well, because maybe he thought he was an edge rusher. So,
right. So if he thought that, then that would preclude the Nakobe Dean conversation.
So, but it's pretty amazing the way he came back from that injury, which I don't think they expected, certainly that early. So it all factors into it, but yeah, it was very un-Howie Roseman like. That's why a lot of people were surprised by Jahad Campbell, and the fact that he wanted him so early. He would have went up to 22 to get him. So that was kind of off the radar, and maybe there's another player that he likes so much, Kenyon Sadiq. There's a guy that I haven't brought up a lot because I don't think they're taking him, but if he thinks he's the difference maker, he might be the guy, because he's, it's going to be offense. That would excite people because skill position.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it won't excite me this year. I think this team needs to get back to what turned them into a.
Well, if you get Kenyon Sadiq at 21 and you get Markel Bell and at 60, what's their third round pick? 68.
Yeah, somewhere. No, yeah, it might be that. I guess I would get. I guess I could be convinced on Sadiq to get fired up.
Oh, you'll get fired up everybody will get fired up if they draft him.
Well, you know who's a player who's really grown on at least in my eyes, just in terms of I've warmed up to the idea of them taking him, which I didn't like at first. Vega. I didn't love the idea of a guard.
I would.
Yeah, you've convinced me a little bit on him. I mean, and I was reading the scouting report on him. Like, I mean, think about it. They have all three of their interior linemen right now are uncertainty for the future.
Yep.
Cam, Landon, and Tyler. I mean, Tyler's not injured; it's for a different reason, but he might not. I mean, their history is that they rotate the right guard. So all three of those people are up for rotation at some point in the next year or two. So I think Vega would be a good pick. But I also read Lance Zierlein's report, who basically wrote that he's a prototypical guard for a run, a physical run scheme. And I'm like, that's kind of Jeff Stoutland. Are you coming back?
And with Tyler Steen as well. Remember, this is the final year of his rookie deal. So everybody's uncertain at guard, and Cam Jurgens at center, but he's not a center. I hear what you're saying. I think going to go Nick Sirianni. I think he's so good. He's going to fit in any scheme. Jeff will get excited, but I'm sick of fanning it up for Penn State, because I think Vega's he's my safest pick of the draft. Every year I pick a safest pick. And what I mean by safe, I guarantee he's going to be a good player. I guarantee it. barring injury, of course. That's the
Right.
only thing.
That's always built into it. But yeah, look, John, you always say don't scout the helmet. So I know you love to give your Penn State guys some love, but I don't think it's about that. He's a good player. We'll see what he's able to do in the league. I wouldn't be upset if the Eagles went with Vega in round 1. I'm all offensive line, everybody. I know people want Sadiq. I know people want a receiver. I know people want the skill position players. Give me the offensive lineman. All right, I will take it. Good stuff. I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. All right, half an hour into our Monday show, 10 days out, everybody, from the 2026 NFL Draft. The beginning, it's 10 days, 11 hours, 24 minutes, and 35 seconds from that draft. And we are 5 seconds away from the great and legendary Jeff Kerr. Jeff, I've been reading all your work on SI. Let's bring him in right now. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr, PHL. You're a machine over there at Sports Illustrated. Jeff Kerr, welcome to the show this Monday morning. How you doing, my friend?
A force machine, maybe.
Yeah. How you hold up? It's a grind, Jeff Kerr.
It is a grind. Well,
it's
luckily
it's good to be back on the grind, though, right? I mean, that's always a good thing.
It is, but I'd rather it be football season where, the story kind of writes itself. You're kind of forcing the issue right now with a lot of this.
Isn't that kind of off-season content always, Jeff?
Yeah.
Exactly. In a way, we're doing it too here. We got it. It's April.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's the NFL.
You got to get into list season. Just don't ask me to do list. I'm not a big list.
That's coming next. I'm going to make John's head combust. Soon we're doing mock drafts and list, baby. Let's go all summer, John.
You guys had enough content last week with a certain coach and a certain reporter, so I think you're good.
Yeah. Thank God. I'm going to try to avoid that today, but I guess we can't at some point. Thanks for bringing it up. But what's your all right? I'm not going to avoid it.
Talk about
12 seconds. Like we got these people who think, they're trying to screw the Eagles. They're trying to create leverage for the Patriots. She's trying to create. What? How could you consider Howie Roseman to be the best GM in sports, and you think Diana Rossini's turning that into leverage against Howie? Well, how does that work? Where's she getting this leverage?
Exactly. It's like, if anything, if you're an Eagles fan, this is what I would think, just trying to be rational. Anything she reports regarding the Patriots or anything with the Patriots, you're like, oh, well, now we know why it's like this. Or anything with the Titans organization, because that's where she was. Okay, so maybe you take her A.J. Brown news with a grain of salt because it's coming. You know where it's coming from.
Right.
That's what you know now.
Well, you could also take it down a route of it confirms it, the unhappiness and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, and again, she knows people in the Brown camp. It's not like she never did. So, when I first saw the pic, and I said this to Ricky Ricardo on WIP last night, we were talking about it. I'm like, have you ever seen this ever in our profession, John?
What?
Just something like that.
Oh, God,
you were literally
all
pictured with,
Oh, not the
pictures. Not the pictures. But all the time, we've seen this.
Look, I think it was very unique that that the video came like I said. Look, it's a conflict of interest. It's unprofessional. I've said this a million times. And she's writing stuff. She's reporting stuff. I said, look, Jake Laser having a party for the coaches, conflict of interest, not cool. Yeah. Now he's not a reporter anymore. He just does TV, but he used to write. So I guess now it's fine. Jordan Schultz, Howard Schultz.
People that find their way into this.
Yeah, exactly. I
really don't want to dive back into the whole thing, but it just feels like that was a little different to me than those two examples. I get your point though, that people do things.
Well, conflict of interest. Of interest. I'm not talking about the moral part of it. I'm talking about just the journalist,
just the professional
conflict of interest. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Well, the moral stuff aside, I mean, the ethical stuff, I think, is what you're talking about when it comes to, journalism and things of that nature, which is where this big issue
But
is.
I mean, that gets rewarded. So that's what people do.
yeah, it's not what I was taught. It's not what John was taught. But
Well, Jeff, let me ask you this, because I think John and I disagree on this for the most part. But the one thing I said that I thought Diana did have the power to do was, if let's just say for the second year, Mike Vrabel wants AJ Brown, right? And him and Diana, or whatever, they're friends or close, or they talk or whatever it is. I don't know what they do. And he wants AJ, but the Eagles don't want to come off their first round pick asking price. And now Diana's out saying, oh, well, there's AJ Brown's knee is pretty bad and the Rams don't want to be in the conversation. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. I'm just saying
that's a good hypothetical.
Yeah, that avenue opens up to people. You know what I mean? And that in their mind, whether they're right or wrong, that in their mind is going to permeate and change the perception and their thought process on her as a reporter and the Patriots as a team, maybe Mike Vrabel. And I think the NFL is going to have a problem with that to some extent, where you might reach
the NFL's
trust.
not going to have a problem.
You don't
the
think
Athletic
so,
might have a
Wall?
problem with it.
No, the Athletic. The Athletic will. By the way, the goofball, the editor from the New York Times who immediately defended that was a mistake.
Yeah,
you got to wait and try to get info. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think she'll be back, to be honest. And now I've heard from one of the business guys, I forget who it was, and I'll try to look it up to give him credit, but her contract's expiring. So I think ultimately this year.
I think that was Ryan Glass. I can never pronounce.
Yeah, it might have been Glass-Steagall.
Yeah, Glass-Steagall. I think that's who it is.
So
they do a good job, by the way.
Yeah, if that's the case, they're just going to let the contract expire and do it that way. I think is how it's going to end up. But as far as the NFL, I mean, yeah, that's none of their business.
Yeah. The first domino kind of fell with her podcast because Chase Daniel said, well, he's not coming back, and I'm not sure it's going to be back. And everybody was like, well, what do you mean by that? And I don't think he knew about all the photos yet, because I remember I was listening to the podcast. It was just Daniel on it that day. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think it's pretty clear they're going to let her contract expire. That's how they're going to handle it. So you don't have to fire her.
I think what's upset me about the whole thing wasn't, again, I always tell people the For You tab isn't actually for you. It just makes you mad.
Like weekly rage about the For You tab.
Yeah. Oh, why isn't any journalist going after her? It's none of my business. Stop meddling in everybody's business.
Yeah,
I saw it, I read it, I moved on. Okay. Yeah. I got bigger things to worry about, like how to put out 5 pieces of content every day.
There you go, Jeff. Yeah, I know. I'm sure. Well, you'll get a piece of content from our segment today that you'll be able to build on. Jeff,
that's why I come on.
Yeah, let me ask you. Dontayvion Wicks, the Birds traded for him on Friday evening, a late trade. They sent 2 late round picks to bring in Dontayvion Wicks. 2-part question here. 1, what do you think of the trade for Dontayvion Wicks and the addition to the receiver room? And 2, what do you think it means for the latest in your thought process on the Eagles and AJ Brown and how that will inevitably come to an end or not?
Yeah, well, John and I had some weekend content because of this, so I was pretty excited to get the Dontayvion Wicks trade on Friday night. But look, I think it's a good depth move. I do. And when you're giving a guy like that a $12.5 million commitment for 2027, keep in mind you don't have to do that. The Eagles are clearly thinking, if this guy gets more targets, he's going to be more productive. Because I think I read, or I think I looked it up. I'm trying to remember. I think 6 players on Green Bay had like 40-plus targets last year or something like that. They had a really
they spread the football around.
Yes, they do.
And I've heard for years how talented Dontayvion Wicks is, but the numbers don't match the talent. But if you're looking at Green Bay, you got Matthew Golden, you got Jaden Reed, you got Dontayvion Wicks, you had Romeo Doubs, you had Tucker Kraft, you had Luke Musgrave.
Don't forget Christian Watson when he's
out Christian Watson was there. So, yeah, I mean, look, I kind of like him as a wide receiver, too, if he ends up winning that and if they trade A.J. Brown. But even if they don't, and I mentioned this for today, they have a contingency plan regardless. Like, say if there's any way they would keep A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dontayvion Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore. It's not going to be the case, but
I don't think Elijah Moore is making this football team.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, I think he's going to be the odd man out.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you mentioned, though, that you think if the Eagles project he gets more targets. I mean, he had 46 targets last year in Green Bay. 46 targets. Jahan Dotson, who was the Eagles wide receiver 3, had 36. So do you think this is a projection that he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver with life after AJ?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be the guy. Like, you got Devontae Smith where they line him up in the X, the Z, wherever. Like, he's going to be the guy. He's going to play probably the right side. So I feel like they can have him go deep. They can have him go underneath. I think his strength is underneath.
And then what do you do? Drop Hollywood Brown in the slot?
Yeah, I think Hollywood Brown, you put in the slot. I think he's the guy who can go over the top. I think Wicks can go over the top.
Well, the beauty is they can all move around. So,
they're all interchangeable, which is what I like about this thing.
Maybe.
You know what I thought was an interesting top 30 visit, John, and you saw I wrote about Chris Douglas. I mean, he's going to be a day 3 pick, but that guy can fly.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to look at themes when it comes to the 30 visits more than anything else, because you don't
it's offensive line, by the way.
Yeah, it's often, but a lot of receivers as well. I thought it was interesting with the secondary. You got the guys with versatility, like Stukes can play slot, can play safety. That's what Vic likes. So those are the themes that I kind of have taken out of it. But one of the themes for the wide receivers, since we're on Wicks, is those second tier guys, they're all 6'2" and 220 and 215. Yeah. What does that tell you?
Wide receiver too?
Well, no, it tells you they're looking to potentially not replace him, but potentially keep some of those traits, just the body, the traits, the measurement type of thing. They're looking to keep that at wide receiver because, Chris Bell's 6'2", Jean Stribling 6'2" and an 1/8. And I got another guy.
Omar Cooper's around there, isn't he?
He's a little bit smaller, but he's a first round guy. Oh, Caleb Douglas is 6'3" and a half. So those are 3 guys they brought in that all have strikingly similar measurements, traits as A.J. Brown. Omar Cooper's like a first round potential guy, and he's more versatile. Like he can play everywhere. He's like 6 foot, 199. So he's not small, but he's not big. But that's the theme I got out of the wide receivers was, these look like AJ guys, which is another foreshadowing of probably what's to come. And they can all run, all the 6'2", 6'3" guys.
That's a theme too with this wide receiver group, their current group. They all can.
Well, most of them can. That's the interesting about them. Dontayvion Wicks. Now, for an NFL wide receiver, Dontayvion Wicks is not fast. Not remotely fast. So I saw a couple people say he ran like a 4.6 coming out. I mean,
that's why he fell.
Yeah, that ain't good. So he's more of a route runner separator that way, possession guy, than he is a deep threat. Because I saw some people, I'm like, what are you talking about?
He's not a deep threat. That's why I said he'd be great underneath. He's that guy. You can get the yards after the catch for you. He's going to be really productive that way. And look, I'm still excited to see what Devontae Smith can do as a wide receiver 1. I think we all are.
I am too. I just don't know how much this offensive change is going to impact it. I mean, look, I like the projected offensive change, but I also am with John where you just do you just do it because you think it's the best, or you do it because you believe it suits your players the best? And it doesn't feel like the decision there is based on the latter. It feels like it's based on the former, and they just want to get to that offense, or by hook or by crook.
As someone who covers two teams, the Eagles and the Phillies, I actually said this to a couple Phillies player. We were talking about AJ Brown, and like that'd be like you guys trading Kyle Schwarber. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like it does. Like I get it, but like in terms of you want to win a championship, this is one of the guys you keep, right?
Well,
You would think.
he's happy.
Yeah, well, that's Kyle Schwarber's happy.
I think that's the part you left out. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
be here. I don't think they're looking to trade him if he wants to be here.
I don't think he's ever going to be happy, if we're going to be honest.
I agree with you. I think he's a tortured soul.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
he's I mean, just from you talk to him, John, I've talked to him. Yeah. I don't know if he overthinks things. I just don't know if he needs to be motivated for something. There's something in there. Like, you're not happy after you win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Like,
And John's
that's
right
weird.
there. John, I forget the exact word you do it, but there are people who are motivated by things that like that, where they're never happy, and that's some say
That's what
it's a
makes them
trait
great.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. That's what makes them great.
There
is
were
the
days like
the
there were
never-ending
days.
pursuit, and that's kind of
Yep.
AJ. But you're in a team game. I think you have to kind of manage it the right way,
There were days like even during an NFL season, like I'll get like that, but then you gotta remind yourself, like, dude, you're doing exactly what you want to do. Like, I'm sure AJ Brown's doing exactly what he wanted to do. Play.
Well,
be
he
a
might.
professional football
I don't
player.
know. He might have wanted to play baseball. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I still think he has that itch, but that sale is.
Yeah, he was a great baseball player, great softball player for the big Devontae Smith softball. Carson Wentz had the softball game. It was always interesting to see who the good softball players were.
Jake Elliott.
Richard Rogers, remember Richard Rogers?
Yeah, Richard
Monster
Rodgers.
softball player.
You know who's
Unbelievable.
who's a bad softball player? Slay.
Yeah, done a lot of guys.
Slay loved when I would just shoot videos of him missing. He's like, oh,
Some of
this
that,
ain't my career.
I don't think some of the best athletes aren't good softball players. I don't think Saquon's very good.
No, he's not. Cooper DeJean is.
Right, Cooper's good at everything.
Cooper's one of those.
When they
dudes
were
for sure.
picking the teams, like they were like arguing who gets Cooper.
Yeah, Jake Elliott is a good softball player. Yeah.
By the
I
way,
don't
John,
know why
you
I'm
ever
like
want to see Quinyon Mitchell out of his element? That softball game. Like, you know how quiet he is? Like, he's not that during that game. It's fun.
I can see that.
Like, even if he's not playing, it's like, dude, I'm hanging out with my boys. Like
yeah,
everybody
well,
loves us.
Quinion's not quiet with his friends. He's just quiet in front of cameras and stuff.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he was talking trash to AJ the day he got here, basically. Which is
I think that's why everybody likes him.
Yeah.
By the way, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, Zander, that 2024 draft class, I named that number 1 over the last 10 years for the Eagles.
That's
could
pretty
see why.
good.
I can see
Pretty
why.
good.
I mean, they're the only first team all pros. They won a Super Bowl because of those two. Oh,
And they were
Caleb
both
pretty good.
incredible. Those two are on an insane their first 2 years is.
Yeah.
And
That's how you
wild.
win championships. Like,
Yeah.
you know what the hardest one for me to pick was? 17, because you had Barnett, you had Rasul
Yeah.
Douglas, you had those guys who were big contributors to that team, but overall they weren't like Rasul Douglas was good everywhere else. He's still in the league, but
And to help you win a Super Bowl, that's the problem. As you get later in the draft, you get more of the warts revealed because everybody has good seasons, bad seasons. A lot of people forget that Derek Barnett was a big part of the Super Bowl 52 team.
yeah,
I mean, a big part. And he kind of progressively got worse after his rookie season, I would say.
I would agree with that.
And
But he was a big part of a championship team.
Yeah. So I consider that a successful pick, but I'm different than most people.
Like even 2016, like you're looking, I'm like, Isaac Seumalo was really good here and could play
Yeah.
everywhere.
He was at
Vaitai.
He was at
Yeah.
Lane's wedding, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 2018 was crazy. They only had 5 picks, but they were
And they
Goddard,
pretty much nailed them all.
Nailed them
Goddard,
all. Yeah.
Avonte Maddox, Josh Sweat, Matt Pryor, Jordan Mailata. I mean, that's crazy. And they didn't have a first-round pick.
Yeah.
2020 was pretty bad, but the drafting of Jalen Hurts basically makes it all go
I put
away.
them 6, and I literally just wrote about Hurts. I'm like, oh, by the way, Jalen Hurts is in this class, so that kind of takes it up.
Yeah, I mean, you get a franchise quarterback in round 2. That's a good draft.
Also, you know why it's a good pick? Because that's the demarcation line for Howie. He said, fuck this, man. If I'm going to get blamed for Jalen Reagor, because the coaching staff wanted Jalen Reagor, Howie wanted Justin Jefferson. He was like, yeah, I'm not, buck stops with me. The buck's going to stop with me.
How about the 2021
he's
draft?
not wrong about
Devontae
that.
Smith. Yeah. How about the 2021 draft? Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams.
Yeah.
Come on.
And by the way, there's also, remember, if you're taking Jefferson in 2020, I mean, everybody's happy. He's still a good player, obviously, because he's a great player. But you don't get Devontae Smith the next year. You don't get A.J. Brown. There's a butterfly effect to everything.
Yeah, we might not have our Super Bowl right now. Our second Super Bowl.
Justin Jefferson may not be as good with the Eagles as he is with the Vikings.
Well, he wouldn't because he doesn't have a high volume thrower. But even if he turned into an All-Pro, because he's that good where he probably would have, you're literally not looking for a receiver because he's so good. We'll just compliment him with Dontayvion Wicks or somebody like that. And you don't have Devontae and AJ. People don't realize everything affects everything else. And you made a mistake with Jalen Reagor, but you rebounded, and you got the best wide receiver duo in franchise history. With all due respect to.
How about the 2023 draft? Carter, Smith, Jomo.
Yeah. They've been on it. Howie's been on a heater since 2021. It's been unbelievable.
2019 and 2020 were really bad. 2019 was not a good draft class at all.
No, they made a mistake with Andre Dillard, obviously, and they didn't think he'd fall to that. And they didn't do a lot of research on him. And they said, why is Andre Dillard? Let's go take him. And that was a big mistake. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, that was a Jeffrey Lurie pick he doesn't like to bring up.
Miles Sanders was a 1,000-yard rusher, but they let him go after 4 years.
Your guy, Sharif Miller, didn't do it.
I don't even remember him playing. Like, I remember him on the team, but
4th round pick, too. Clayton Thorson. Oof.
Oh, man. He might have been the worst quarterback I've ever seen.
I've seen some bad quarterbacks. Man.
Oh, 2023, I also
I saw Tim Tebow throw it over the hedges. I saw Tim Tebow throw it over the hedges at the Jefferson Health Training Complex.
No, it was it was NovaCare back in the day.
I know.
You got to be like a NASCAR fan and still call it the Busch Series, even though it's the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. You got to go that route.
It's Jefferson. I'm very astute of what it is. Now, back then you could call it what it was, but now it's the Jefferson Health Training Complex.
I actually told an Eagles employee, can't we see it at NovaCare? And I said, oh, wait, I'm sorry, Jefferson Health Training Complex.
Yeah. We'll be down there probably this week. Probably. We'll see.
Something that you can say? What is it for?
That's just pre-draft.
Pre-draft stuff.
Yeah. Well, how would you before the draft?
Yeah. That's what it is. Not going to say anything, but we'll we'll trudge down there, but he's not going to say anything.
Well, you can ask him about Dontayvion Wicks and things of that matter. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Howie, who are you going to draft?
AJ Brown's a member of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He's an Eagle.
Yeah, Howie's Howie's answer. Even Howie, though, has been given the scripted PR statement that they give out.
He want Marshawn Lynch. That's what he said. A.J. Brown is a member of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm wrong with saying that. That's the correct
Factually
answer.
Correct.
So you guys just gave Howie a lot of credit for the drafting, which I agree with, by the way. He's been excellent. Any concern on the wide receivers? He really never, outside of Devontae Smith, he's really never.
He's never really had to draft one outside of him.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it works both ways. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
luck involved. Let's be honest. And
But
like,
they've gone heavy on defense the last.
oh yeah,
couple years.
they haven't
Yeah.
drafted offense at all. Basically, only 2 premium picks since 2021, and that was a 3rd rounder, Tyler Steen, and a 2nd rounder, Cam Jurgens. They haven't taken a 1st round pick on offense since 2021.
There's
And
Devontae Smith.
you know, one of the somebody put out the highest paid the highest paid defense. The Eagles were the lowest paid defense and the highest paid offense last year. It's just timing. That's all.
Yeah.
It's
They'll address
timing.
offense this year.
Yeah, it's timing. They had established players on offense that they had to pay. Now it's changing. Now they're going to have established players on defense that they have to pay. And the offense isn't going to be as highly paid, but it might be a lot better if they make the right decisions. Dare I say that, Jeff Kerr? How do you get much worse?
That's a good. You know what? See, here's the thing too. With how they've been going after defense, they need a pass rusher in the worst way. I don't like what they got right now.
They do, but
I don't think that's what they're going to go for.
They can roll out what they have at pass rusher right now.
Yep, they can,
and have a top 10 defense
because they did it last year.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm banking on Jalen Hunt still elevating. That's what. I mean, maybe he's the stud. Maybe he's the premium pass rusher.
You know, don't you can't just dismiss Nolan Smith. I mean, he's got to stay healthy.
He's
a good player when he's out there.
Yeah.
No, he's a good player when he's out there. Joe Tryon, you don't like Joe Tryon?
No,
Arnold Ebiketie.
I like Arnold Ebiketie, but I think you know why I like Arnold
Penn State. Even though
he's a lot better than Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche.
Yeah, I agree with
that.
Hey, no Josh Uche slander on this show. Josh Uche.
No, I like Josh Uche too. I thought Josh did a really good job last year when
First
they
of all,
asked him to do it.
Tremendous professional, number one. So that's why I like him.
Could talk to him every single day.
But he played really freaking well when he was out there, and they just, but
there was no room at the end for him.
Exactly.
And that's all. And I honestly wish they would have brought him back. But if you want more of an opportunity, Philadelphia ain't going to be it.
Now, where did Josh sign, by the way?
Dolphins.
He signed somewhere. Dolphins?
Dolphins. Yeah.
That's not good. Well, he'll get a chance to play there, but
that's probably why he did it. Well, isn't who from the Patriots is there? I gotta think about this.
Well, that might be the worst team in football on paper right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I still have my humble brag that I picked the Jets as one of my 5 worst teams in the NFL last year, and I got.
How is that a humble brag? They're one of the 5 worst teams every year since the beginning.
But I picked them, and everybody's like, "No, they're going to be good." I'm like, "They're the Jets. They're never good."
They had some pockets, with Chad Pennington and Vinny. Some Mark Sanchez.
I think who I think could have a better year this year. I think the Raiders could have a better year this year. Not saying they're going to be a contender or anything, but I think
they got to have a better year.
Yeah, they can't be any worse.
I think they're going to get to maybe 8-9 wins. They could at least, maybe. Depends how.
Well, Kirk Cousins. That means Kirk Cousins is playing.
Yeah.
Fernando Mendoza ain't getting the
8. John is not a Fernando Mendoza guy.
Not early.
If I still had to do the 5 worst right now, I would not have the Giants on it. No, I would not have the Giants on it.
No, I wouldn't either. But I'm probably putting too much on John Harbaugh, though. They still got a ways to go with that roster. But I mean, he's a pro. He's gonna.
You think they're the team that goes and gets Jeremiah Love?
Boy, didn't work out the first time.
No, it didn't.
I think Tennessee's going to get him, which I don't love for Jeremiah Love. No pun intended, but
I mean,
I think they're going to get him.
I mean, the perfect fit would be Kansas City, but I don't know if he's going to be there at 9.
No. That's why they signed Taylor, because they know they're not getting him.
My guys in Kansas City made the joke. How about we just draft your boys Nick and Katron and we'll call it a day? I said that actually would work for you.
I think Katron's getting picked ahead of Nick.
I think he is still. Well, Nick's injured. Nick's injured.
Yeah.
He had the foot injury.
I think they're both day 3 guys, unfortunately, Joe.
Yeah, I have that hunch just from. I'm looking now. Like I gotta look where the Beast ranks him. I haven't done that yet.
I haven't looked at him specifically, but
okay. So Katron's the 5th ranked running back. Nick is 8.
Yeah, Katron's higher for most people, which surprised me.
Nick's got a 5th round grade. Boy, the Beast nails it right on the head with Nick, by the way. Right on the head. Everything I say is like basically his most frustrating runner because of his vision.
Yeah, I don't want a running back with bad vision. Sorry.
There were a lot of times last year, I think I said, "What are you doing?" was at Penn State games.
Well, I had a lot more problems than poor Nick Singleton, but I do think he's going to be a day 3. Not a great year for running backs, except ironically, the 2 best running backs are from the same school. But Jeremiah Love is phenomenal. I have 2 blue chip players in this draft. I don't know if I told you, Jeff, but
is Jeremiah Love one of them?
Jeremiah Love is number 1, and Caleb Downs is number 2.
Yeah, Caleb Downs,
and that's it.
Where's Caleb Downs going to go? You guys think Washington?
Well, he's got some injury stuff, evidently, some degenerative stuff potentially. So that could be the untowardness of teams trying to get him to fall a little bit. Plus, he doesn't run that well. So he might go a little bit further than people think. But boy, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. People are talking themselves into this shit. I think he's the best defensive player in the draft, even above his teammates that everybody thinks is going 2 and top 10. Arbel Reese and Sonny Styles. But Ohio State's got 4 of the top 10 players in this draft, by the way.
Are you a Ruben Bain guy, John?
No.
As a player?
I mean, he can't. Well, I'll say this. He's got to play 3 technique. He's not an edge rusher.
You think people are going to move him to the 3 tech, though, John?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Smart team will. You can't. Tackles will. Sorry, I just looked up Ruben Bain. I'm just looking up his little T-Rex arms.
You have the beast stuff, by the way, right? You finally got that now?
His T-Rex arms.
His T-Rex. It's true though. He has T-Rex arms. He's like, what's the kid's name on New England? Will Campbell.
Yeah, well, it's even smaller than Will.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to find what he measured.
Too small to play versus an NFL tackle, John.
Yeah. I mean, the good ones will eat him up. Will eat him alive.
You know, I know you always say, John, don't draft by the helmet. If I need a wide receiver, I'm still drafting Carnell Tate just because of the helmet.
Well, yeah. Well, he's just good. I mean,
they're all just good.
Ohio State's got 4 of the top 10 players in this draft
because they're good.
He's one of them.
Every year they're good.
30 and 7/8 arm length. That is insanely. They want 34. I don't think, and I get people are like, I don't get that. That is historically low. And you get the Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailatas of the world, who are these big, long, athletic monsters. They're just going to lock on, and that's it. But inside, he could be the undersized. I don't want to compare him to Aaron Donald, but he's got to be that type of player. Just beat people on his explosion. John Randall, my guy, who I covered. That's who he's got to be. And that's inside.
By the way, John, I was kind of excited when Chase Pasantis had a visit with the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I would take a guard. Now, I'd rather have your guy, Vega.
Well, I would too, but like if you pick him, I'm not against it.
I mean, if I'm the Eagles and which he won't, I'm talking about Vega, he won't last the 23. But if he does, I don't care if he's a guard. I'm taking him, period.
Yeah,
easiest pick in the world.
Oh, by the way, see you, Tyler.
Well, I don't know if it's Sia Tyler. He's still got 1 year. Remember, he's got 1 year left on his rookie deal. So
I'm talking about the future. Yeah.
Yeah, he's either a really good backup or insurance in case Landon Dickerson can't play.
I've said multiple times in my writing, he's fine, but they may need better than fine because of everything else.
But I think so if you take all the tackles and add in Vega and Chase Pasantis, I think Vega's the best offensive lineman in the draft. Even better than Mauigoa and Freeling and anybody else. Spencer
K'Jon Allen was really good last year because of Vega. He got his big chunks running behind Vega.
But obviously, people are going to value tackles more. Spencer Fanu, too. He's got to move inside.
Yeah, I got to watch more of him. I'm still catching up with the draft because I didn't have to care about it for a while.
It's coming.
Like, I know who's where, but...
It's coming. You only got...
It is coming.
A week from Thursday.
I like to thank the Beast for helping me catch up.
Yeah, that thing is impressive. By the way, Dane, send me a freaking hard copy. I saw, obviously some people were gifted hard copies.
I missed him.
You send the email? Get the email to him. He'll get it to you.
I don't like to beg. I like to be offered things.
Well, don't ask, don't get, John,
It's so weird. Like, I can honestly say this, like, just from being a former CBS employee. 5 years ago, we had Dane and we had Chris Trapasso, and we had Ryan Wilson's still there. We had so many good draft guys, and they still do. But it's like you took the stars and just let them walk. And we're like, what are we doing here? Like, our whole team is good. It was elite. Now it's good. And Dane was like leading the charge, obviously. We had the Beast before the Beast even came out.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing is I think it's 627 pages or something like that.
I can't imagine how long that takes him.
The whole year, pretty much.
If I was him, man, I'd be like God. I'd rest on the seventh day.
Well, that's what, and then you have people who don't understand how much work it takes during the year. So you have like you're talking about CBS, they probably go, well, what's Brugler going to do when it's not draft season? It's like, come on, dude.
Work for next draft season.
Exactly.
That's what he does.
Exactly. But too many people in media don't understand. Like, football's a year-round job now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even believe Jeff took on, the Eagles, publishing the Eagles SI site. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you're doing the Phillies, man, because this is going to consume you.
It is.
I gotta get a darker Wildwoods thing. It's bothering me with this light. I can't do it.
It's crazy too, because I still get like my info.
I'll remember. I'll remember to do it for you.
I
still get my info too. Like, you saw, like, I was working this weekend doing Eagles stuff during the game.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna do Phillies. I'm just, dude, this is time consuming, freaking time consuming. Especially
I got to cut back on the Phillies a bit,
especially covering the Eagles. The Eagles are a pain in the ass in a good way because they're always in the news. and they're always generating interest. But man, Howie never stops, man. Never stops.
Friday night, 5:30. I'm getting ready to go out to dinner with a couple buddies, and boom,
Yeah,
there it is.
My fiance's birthday was Sunday, and my dumbass put off my gift purchasing until Friday evening, and I was supposed to go, and there was somebody waiting for me at the store. They were about to close, and then I get the deal. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. So I had to stay. I was up against it on Friday evening with Howie's late news dump for Dontayvion Wicks.
Remember the first couple days of free agency, and everybody's losing their fucking mind, and oh my God, they're not doing anything. Everybody's doing anything. And you look up, and he's still getting people on Friday, 10 days before 2 weeks before the draft, and now they have.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're good people, though.
I'm not saying they are, but as far as volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then you talk about the trades, 13 plus Sidney Brown leaving. So you got 3 trades already. I mean, it is constant. March 11th, March 13th, March 17th, March 19th, March 21st, March 25th, March 30th, March 31st.
Yep.
And then just recently. Like everybody else is dead in a dark period. They just keep bringing in people. Now, you could say Tamu signing, whatever. Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is draft proof in the roster.
Don't you feel better about the wide receiver? If you're an Eagles fan, don't you feel a little better about the wide receiver position today than you did last Monday?
They should.
I do.
Howie, I hope you're listening. You are good at your fucking job. I will give you credit.
Now his head's gonna. He's gonna start levitating.
Well, yeah, but my flowers are legitimate as opposed to everybody else. I
had a buddy tell me yesterday how good I am with my Phillies coverage and Phillies writing in the journalism field. I said, and what am I doing? I'm covering the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, baseball. You're a baseball guy. I sense Jeff Kerr's a baseball guy deep down.
I can talk to. It's funny. You know what I talk to baseball guys about? Football. It's kind of ironic.
Well, nobody wants to talk about their own stuff.
No, or we'll talk about other people that play baseball. That's always fun too.
Well, we'll see what happens. Jeff, what are we? We're 10 days out, man, from the NFL draft.
We're 10 days out. I'm starting to get excited for it.
You got a pick for round 1? Is it Vega? Are you staying true to your Penn State roots?
I mean, staying true to your Penn State sycophants.
If Vega's at 23, I am going to. God knows this. At the Jefferson Health, that Penn State cap is coming right on my head.
No, you can't do that. Come on.
I know.
You gotta be professional.
I know. I never wear my Penn State cap anyway.
If Vegas there at 23, I'm taking them too.
I run to the podium, and I'm not even in the front office.
I don't know if he will be, but
I don't think he will be. And I don't think the Eagles would take him, but I would. But yeah,
I don't know who. I really don't know. I have an idea what position they're going to go with, but I have no idea who they're going to pick. If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, that's the trick. I mean, the odds are it's going to be offensive tackle because of the number of tackles available. But and Howie's very on. It's going to be an offensive player. I'm very confident in that. But I started this when they still had Jeff Stoutland, and I said my earliest thoughts were Caden Proctor is going to be an Eagle. I may end up there. I'm going to go full circle.
Look, he's going to fall right into their lap. He's not even 21.
Well, I hear a lot of Detroit rumblings about Caden Proctor as well. So he might not be there. I think Detroit's 17th. I've heard a lot of Detroit rumblings with Caden Proctor. Because remember, Taylor Decker is out. They're going to move Penei Sewell to left tackle, I believe.
So they're going to need a right tackle.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Caden Proctor hype in Detroit, but if he gets by Detroit, I think he might be there. I might end up back at Caden Proctor.
One of my guys might be a Lion too. He'll stay a Lion. I'll just say that.
Who's that?
One of the Penn State guys.
Who?
One of the running backs.
Nick
I'm just saying.
Oh, they got to replace. They got to replace Montgomery.
I mean, I know they like him. I know that. So do the Chiefs. There's a lot. There's a couple teams. Eagles like him too, from what I'm hearing. So I don't know. We'll see.
We're talking Allen or Singleton. You're closer to Singleton.
Yeah, both.
I don't see.
But I don't know if they're going to draft them. Like I mean, liking them and actually taking them are two different things.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's 31 other teams. Somebody else might take them.
Yeah.
Can't have everybody at once. And that's the trick to it all. But yeah,
sure.
I think they're both day 3 picks. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they are too. I mean,
but there aren't a lot of running backs on that end. You know, there aren't a lot of running backs after Love and Price, Jadarian Price, who, by the way, might go in the first round as well. How crazy would that be? 2 running backs from the same school in the first round in the modern era.
You wonder why Notre Dame.
Nobody hates running backs, but they should have been in that. They should have been in the college football playoff. But I digress. Then there's like a huge drop off. I guess Jonah Coleman, Mike Washington. I don't like him. Emmett Johnson from Nebraska. Demon Claiborne from Wake Forest. But then you're down to the third down backs. And then your guys, Allen and Singleton. Singleton at least has the measurables to be like a 3-down running back.
I mean, when you stand next to him, it's an NFL running back.
Yeah, so he's got that going for him. There's not a lot of running backs. So if you need a running back, you got to take one at some point. So maybe they go a little bit.
Well, that's why I was so bummed when he injured the foot at the Senior Bowl, because he was having really good practices there. And they're like, oh, this guy can catch the football. Yeah, Penn State's offense didn't really do that. It's funny how that works still. But
I don't know. You know, a lot of draft people, a lot of draft content people make a big deal about Senior Bowl practice. You're there for a couple days. Like, it's not really.
But you're there to network. It's like everything else.
Yeah, that's the more important part, the networking. But you're not.
That's what these corporate overlords don't get. Networking.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. I mean, the NFL meetings, look, that's where you go to Sedona. And
that's where you network.
Yeah. It's where you
adult-only hotels.
Yeah.
Resorts.
At adult-only resorts in
Yeah,
Sedona.
I can tell you someone who covers the Phillies in the Phillies clubhouse. I barely have that cell phone up. I don't. I'm talking to people about other stuff.
By the way, somebody told me Major League Soccer, did you hear this? Was banning reporters from getting players' phone numbers?
I saw that. Yeah.
Is that true? Is that true or not?
My brother-in-law's my brother-in-law's a big Major League Soccer fan, and he actually sent me that link. And he
really?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the first big Major League Soccer fan I've ever heard of in my life.
Well, he's a Union fan, right? But he sent me the link, and he goes, and they already don't have any media coverage. I'm like, yeah, they don't want you to. They literally are killing their sport.
I haven't got confirmation. If that's true, man, ugh. Boy, where are we headed?
How are we supposed to do our jobs, like, ever?
I don't know. I saw Josh Ennis, of all people, For those who remember Josh, he used to be on WIP, but he tweeted something that was true. Unfortunately, it was sad but true, and that was people don't care about journalism anymore. They just want to have somebody tell them what they want to hear.
Yep. That's
So
true.
y'all might as well just go make some money off of it,
It's
which
true.
is sad, but that's what people do.
I've said this whole weekend, look, Adolis Garcia is going to be the Phillies cleanup hitter. No one seems to want to listen. I'm like, well, I'm telling you, this is it. This is what's happening. Oh, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. Maybe I am. Maybe I'll take your heart.
Here's specifically what Josh said. People care that you tell them what they want to hear. Otherwise, they don't think you're credible. I live that every day.
Yeah. You do, John.
Every single day.
But I'll tell you what, I think people watch this show because they do want to hear what you want to hear.
Yeah, there's still some who enjoy. But, I get you're negative. And then I'm telling Howie's fucking great at his job. Like, which one is it?
Yeah, you're really negative there, John.
Yeah.
You're such a negative guy. I've seen it
sometimes
firsthand.
I am. But I will also, if Howie does something that I think is stupid, I will say it. But what I will not say is he's being leveraged by Diana Rossini. I will not say that.
No, he's too smart to be leveraged by Diana Rossini.
It's not Howie that's getting leveraged. It's every other GM in the league that's half as smart as Howie, if that. That's who it is. You take away them in the equation. And
Maybe there's a reason why
Howie's
A.J. Brown ain't with the Patriots yet. Did you ever think of that? Like he's already one step ahead of the game?
Yeah, trust me, Howie's a couple steps ahead of the game.
Yeah, oh, by the way, yeah, okay, the Rams were interested. Do you really think Howie Roseman's going to trade him to the Rams?
Nope, never believed that for 1 second.
I actually agree with Eagles fans who are just over this. They're like, dude, trade this guy to the Browns or Jets and let's just call it a day.
That's what
I love that, honestly.
Yeah,
make him miserable somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Jeff, your final thought here, man. 10 days out from the draft, you're doing a great job at Sports Illustrated. I've been reading, keeping up with all your articles over there. Well done by you. Good to have you back writing consistently, especially on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a good treat for me to, as somebody that reads a lot of the Eagle coverage. Your final thought here is we're 10 days out from the draft, my friend.
I'm ready for it, man. I'm always excited for day 1 and 2. Day 3, it's whatever. I mean, for every
day 3's the funnest day for losers like me, man. That's when all the
I can't stand day 3.
Oh, I love
for every Antoine Powell Ryland.
I don't like day 1 because it's like you get through 32 picks and that's it. You got to go home and what the fuck? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, 32 out of 260. It's like, dude, we barely got this thing
started. Can I go on my rant about how the draft should not be 3 days? We should go back.
Yeah, sure. I say it all the time. I want a Saturday and Sunday draft like the old school. That's it. Saturday,
Day
Sunday.
2's a fun day, I think, because it's still you're still getting the 2nd and 3rd round picks.
Well, it's fine. It's better than day 1. So I always feel like 32 comes and it's like, that's it. We got to do this again.
But that's how I am with day 3. I'm like, man, we got to come on. Get me.
No, day 3, you got a boatload of picks. It pisses me off when they talk about the players already, when on ESPN or NFL. I tend to watch NFL Network, although NFL Network doesn't exist anymore and is ESPN. So
yeah, it's an ESPN.
Who knows what it looks like?
By the way, ESPN did the greatest thing ever last night.
What was that?
You guys watch ESPN. Rich Eisen hosted Sports Center, and they did an old Sports Center.
I didn't see that.
Just give the people what they want. I want actual news and highlights, not the Celtics won again, and the Knicks won again, and they're the greatest teams ever because they won again. But they can't beat anybody any good.
Jeff,
your Philly bias is coming out
this morning.
I can't stand.
By the way, if the Sixers make it. By the way, if the Sixers make it through the play-in, and I don't even know how you do that, by the way, because I don't care enough to figure out how you get it through it.
Town's fired up now. They don't even care about the Sixers.
They would be, I believe, would be playing Boston,
And they're gonna lose. And they're gonna lose probably in 5 games.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
But I do think it's funny that every time the Knicks win a game, they're like the greatest team ever, even though they don't beat anybody that's any good. They beat Boston like twice, I guess. 3 times. Okay, they're 3-1 against Boston.
Who says the Knicks are? I don't get that. The Knicks have.
I don't get it either.
Fucking Willis Reed. Who cares about that?
And look, I should love the Knicks more than anybody. They got my guys on the team. Mikal, Brunson.
Yeah, they had all the Villanova guys. They still
got all the Villanova, all the guys.
When I had the year they were really good. I think their best team. They had the 4 Villanova guys.
Yeah.
Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah, they had Dante DiVincenzo on that team.
Yeah. That was
I think Karl Anthony Towns slows them down.
Yeah, maybe. Brunson is good, though. Man.
Brunson's amazing. I love Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
By the way, when did shooting 3 throws become like such a terrible thing in the game of basketball?
Well, it's all threes now. They've ruined the game. With the 3-point shot has ruined the game.
But the whole like
nobody draws fouls because a 2-point shot is considered by the numbers nerds to be a bad shot. Mid-range shot is the worst shot in basketball, according to the numbers nerds, because obviously the percentage goes down from a layup, and it's better to take threes. Right. Just heave up threes. It's very similar to baseball. You're a baseball guy. They ruined baseball.
I know. If you're shooting 45% from the mid-range, but 36% from 3.
Everybody hates Justin Crawford. No, those ground balls will not play in Major League Baseball. Oh, you really?
No, I'm old when newspapers were a thing, and the Sunday paper was a thing. And one of the funnest things about getting the Sunday paper and baseball season was they would have the aggregate, baseball statistical numbers, every player, and they would list them all. And if you were 200, you were just awful. You were like ostracized. Now you got teams hitting 200 because all they do is swing for the fucking fences. It's awful.
Plate discipline is gone. Plate approach is gone.
I don't know how you watch baseball every day, Jeff. It's awful. It is an awful sport destroyed by awful people. There's my tangent.
Who are the awful people? I need to know.
The analytics people. They have ruined the sport. They have ruined the sport. Launch angle. You can't play station-to-station baseball. Why? Because the odds say it's eventually you'll hit a home run, and it's best to swing for the fences.
My favorite of the analytics people was when people told me Ryan Howard wasn't any good because RBI is a team stat. Well, you still got to drive him in, and he did that 140 times a year for 4 straight years. My favorite
analytics statement of all time, Jared Trexler, if you're listening, good friend of mine. I laughed out loud. And I know what he meant too. I knew what he meant, but it was just so funny when he said it. And he said, on base percentage is a better indicator of runs scored than runs scored. I fell off my chair.
It's kind of true.
It is true. It is 100% true. But to say it is just hilarious. Is a better indicator of runs scored than runs scored.
So what
he's trying to say is over the long term, if you have a good, things will even out. Yeah. And he's at 100% right.
I'm the stat guy, but I always dispute even stats. The Philly starting pitching ERA is this. Okay, take Taijuan Walker out of that. What is it? Well, what does that matter? I'm like, because he's not going to be a starter in 2 weeks.
People don't like context, Jeff. They don't like it.
No, they don't. I said, did you take Zach Pop out of that equation? I did that yesterday. Well, why would I do that? Because Zach Pop is not a starter, and the real starter pitched 5 innings out of the bullpen. Flawed.
Well, I might go watch Moneyball after the show.
John, you love that movie. I tell you,
I love it.
I love Moneyball too.
The greatest thing, and it's ironic because I do think stat people have ruined baseball and basketball. But I'm more open-minded than most old people. Like, I sit and laugh at when Brad Pitt's at the table as Billy Bean trying to explain to these old school baseball scouts
it's
just how
great.
stupid they are. It is amusing. But
You know what my favorite part of Moneyball is? When he's going in at it with Art Howell again, and he goes, "Art, thank you for reinvigorating me for my love of the game." He pulls his pants up and walks like him.
what I tell you, sometimes you got to trade a guy to get the manager.
Or when he trades Pena, he goes, "Pena's not the lineup's mine." Well, I'm telling you, Pena's not available. Traded him.
Yeah, that's that.
That's how he got. That's how he's fixed it.
How you do it if you're a GM?
I love it too when he brings him in. Carlos, you've been traded to the Tigers.
yeah. Great movie. You should
That's
watch
the other Moneyballism I like, and I always use it now in baseball. Well, we're not paying your salary. The Yankees are paying you. That's what they think of you. They're paying you to play for somebody else. That's what the Phillies think of Nick Castellanos. That's what I tell them all the time.
Yeah. At least they don't charge for the soda in the locker room.
Yeah,
Clubhouse,
soda money. That's the other good one when he's talking to Jonah Hill on the plane. Billy likes to keep the money on the field. Soda money?
Oh, gosh. All right, Jeff, good show, man. We got to run. I got to get to another topic here with Johnny Mack as we get a little closer to the draft. We got some super chats.
Tangent day. Jeff Kerr's here. It's tangent day.
Yeah, it's tangent day. I got to get
every Monday's tangent day. Here it is. It is.
All
right, guys. Appreciate it. Jeff, thank you, man. We appreciate you. We will talk to you next week. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL. Go read all his work at si.com.
Get to work, dude. You got like 16
I already wrote like 2 things today.
All right.
Yeah, Jeff's cooking, dude.
I got to do the show in the morning. I can't. Then I got to take care of Tank. My life, man. I got a lot of shit to do every day.
You're getting old, John. When you retire, I'm done. When you retire, I'm leaving with you.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
See you guys.
See you, bud.
All right, later, dude. There's Jeff Kerr joining us right here on Birds 365. Good stuff from Jeff Kerr. You got Tank and you got Barkley, the 2 dogs of si.com.
Yeah, right. But mine wasn't named after a football player. Jeff's was.
You can toss that caveat in all you want.
That's true.
All right, good stuff. We got some supers to get to. We got 5 of them. I want to thank all you guys for being here on a Monday morning, 10 days out from the draft. Good talking with Jeff Kerr. Let's go to our super chats. Brando Shred. What's up, Brando? If this offensive experiment fails and Sirianni is fired, what are the odds Stoutland returns after a year off? Kind of like Howie, Chip Kelly. Stoutland's pretty old.
I mean, Howie loves him. Jeffrey Lurie loves him. So I can't say he's not coming back, but I don't think he's coming back. But I don't know where Jeff is as far as, obviously he's not going to coach this year. I don't know how much he wants to get back into it. I'm sure his wife likes the area. That'll factor into it. I wouldn't say it's out of the question. To me, the bigger question is, did they really, 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 really want to go with this offense? Or is this just, I don't know how to explain it. If they really want to go with this offense, he's not going to be back. I mean, just not. But I don't know if that's the case. If I knew that, it'd be easy to answer these questions. It makes no fucking sense to me. But I haven't made that clearly to anyone. It makes no sense to me.
You've been pretty clear on that since the day they hired Sean Mannion.
And, and I gave Howie some compliments here. I'm going to criticize him. Normally, when the Eagles do something, you normally makes sense. This makes no sense.
Well, John, so get out. So I'm going to ask you to go outside of the, you like to use the phrase Occam's razor a lot, where it's like the simplest explanation is often the right one. Is there a chance that that's not the case here with the Eagles? Like, are they doing something to put somebody on an island? Are they doing things to put Sirianni on an island? Are they trying to push Jalen Hurts out the board? Are any of those things realistic to even ponder?
Well, I think of that the one they're trying to push out in that scenario would be Jalen Hurts, not Nick Sirianni.
I agree with you. I agree. I
But
don't
why
think
would
fans
you
will
try
like
to
to hear
push
that,
it?
but I think that's the truth.
Why would you try to push out Jalen Hurts? I don't understand it. Like, I
Style.
get it. I get it. I don't want to play this style of football. I get it. It's an ugly style of football. I've said it from day one. Through all the winning, I've said, yeah, they win a lot, but it's ugly. That's going to continue. It's not turning pretty. It's not. So, I mean, what do you want? I'm presuming you want to win. Then you got to build around the quarterback who's proven he can win for you. It is hard to find quarterbacks in this league.
So, in your estimation, do you think Jalen Hurts' seat is hotter than Nick Sirianni's?
No, not from the standpoint, but that's just money related. Like, it's easier to replace a head coach than it is a quarterback, an entrenched quarterback. Much easier. It's you can fire a coach at pretty much any time.
Yeah, exactly.
So from that standpoint, it's just, but that's all that has to do with it's way easier to get rid of a coach than it is to get rid of a starting quarterback who has had success, the kind of success that he's had. Would be unheard of. Now, if he comes off another bad season, things move so quickly, you can do it at that point. But Nick would be the one that goes first, but everybody likes Nick. Howie loves working with Nick.
Does the owner though, John? I mean, you've had some reports come out. I mean, I think it was Jeff McMullen earlier who said he was almost fired at week 4 of 2024.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jeff's really good. I've never gotten that confirmed. I don't. Was he thinking about it? I'm sure he thinks about everything, but I don't think he was going to fire. That's not Jeffrey Lurie. He's going to fire somebody week 5.
Well, he was. Well, I think to be clear, that was coming off the 2023 collapse. So, maybe he thought about firing him after the 2023 collapse.
Well, that's true.
And then adding in the first 4 games of 24, which looked like a shit show. Maybe Jeffrey was like, all right, we should maybe cut that.
I mean, it's possible. I just
it's not just like the first 4 games were ugly and all of a sudden Jeff wanted to fire Nick.
I just don't think he would fire any coach at week 5. No, he fired Chip Kelly with 1 game to go. I could see that. He doesn't strike me as the guy who's going to fire somebody in the season, especially that early. But I mean, anybody can do anything. So, I mean, I think it. Yeah, I think it has more to do with what? Why? And please, somebody explain it to me. Why would you put Jalen Hurts in this situation? Why?
That's why I asked the question about if there's ill intent, not ill intent, but put up. It's almost like a sink or swim. To toss the baby into the deep end of the water.
Yeah, and the baby's going to drown, but I guess we'll.
At least you'll know. At least. I don't know. I'm hoping that's
it's almost like they're trying to prove to people that you shouldn't be worried about that he can't do this, because you have this group that is so defensive of Jalen Hurts that says, "Well, he can do anything."
Well, do you think it's Jalen who's maybe leading that?
No, because I think Jalen doesn't want to be in this offense. He's not comfortable under center. He's not comfortable doing the shit.
Yeah, but he does listen to the narratives. I mean, he, as insinuated by what he said to you. Oh, I thought people said I can't throw the deep ball. I know he tries to act like he doesn't, but he does. And that's fine. I get it. I understand it.
Well, I mean, if he's not, my only explanation that makes some sense is they want to do it more often to, put more doubt in the defense's mind. So if you're talking about throwing under center 4 times a game, maybe it turns into 8 times a game. And do it, gradually. But what they did with Kellen Moore, a little bit more motion. But from everything they're talking about, no, they're going full bore Shanahan. What the fuck? It makes no sense at any level.
Yeah, I'm with. That's why I'm trying to. I mean, forgive me if I'm going down roads that are not plausible, but I'm just trying to piece it together. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense on the surface. Jason Gates says, "Just wanted to say, great job as always, guys. Also, I can't wait till the home opener. It's my first game after 40 plus years being an Eagle fan. Go Birds! Look at that, Jason. That's going to be a hell of a day. We're going to have a bunch of food out there. We'll have a great tailgate. We'll have everything set up for everybody. It's going to be an awesome event. I'm looking forward to it too. Jason, good stuff. Niall says." Oh, Niall, you commented this over the weekend. I was cracking up, man. Smitty in the mids.
Smitty.
He says it sounds like a what did you use, Niall, on the comment on the weekend? Smitty and the mids. I gotta read you what he wrote. Smitty and the mids sounds like a terrible Motown group. He said. He writes here in a super chat. I'm fully under the impression that AJ will be gone now. All things must change and evolve. Time to ride with Smitty and the mids.
Well, I think it's funny because you have this group. I was texting Checo over the weekend. Full disclosure, as we plot to destroy the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people give us crap for saying that, hey, AJ's probably going to get traded, and it doesn't bother me that much from fans. But you have this sort of like group of pseudo media people who are really just Eagles fans.
The content creator, content world. Yeah. People who've learned how to generate social media views have established I get it. Go ahead.
And, what one of these people is like talking about Dontayvion Wicks. And like they're trying to memory hole. Like we're lying to him about AJ, but now it's becoming clearer. And it's like, he's going to be a good wide receiver too. And I'm like, they're just going to grip their way out of it. They're just going to pretend it never existed.
Yep. They absolutely are. Unfortunately, people won't pick up.
They're just going to, and that's always, and I know it, but it's like I always talk about hypocritical people. There's nothing coming of pointing out hypocrisy because they don't care they're hypocrite. They don't care that they're hypocrites. So it doesn't really matter. I guess if you don't matter, but nobody's lying to you. Nobody's lying to you. It's all true.
Is Wicks at 2 going to be enough, John?
No. They're going to draft a receiver still.
So does Smitty, a 2026 draft pick, Wicks, Hollywood?
Yeah, I think you can win with that.
It's not an awful. It's not. You don't have the same level of top end talent, obviously, but it's not a bad group all throughout. I mean, you're kind of like the Packers.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a bunch of guys. You got a bunch of solid.
But you don't have a quarterback who's going to spread the football around.
No.
So I mean. Look, that's the part that doesn't fit. And like if you have a traditional Kyle Shanahan quarterback style, I think Dontayvion Wicks is a really good fit. Separates, possession guy, going to be open early in routes. Because he's really sharp with his cuts, and if the ball comes out, he's going to get positive plays when he doesn't drop the ball. That's another thing we haven't talked about. He's got pretty significant history of drops.
Oh, does he?
So he's not.
He's got
to get. 2024, he led the league in drop rate. He's eight drops total, but remember, he's only got 39 receptions. I forget the targets, but he led the NFL in drop rate. Through the
That's
3 years,
NFL drop rate, that's pretty bad.
yeah. Through the 3 years, he's got 14 drops. And again, not a high volume receiver, so he's got to sharpen up there. But
that's not ideal.
He does get open early in routes because he's a really good route runner, and if the ball comes out on time, going to get some positive plays.
So the entire success of this offense, to me, sounds like the ball's got to come out on time. If the ball comes out on time, things might look pretty good. If the ball doesn't come out on time, things going to look as ugly as it gets.
Pretty much.
Lovely. All right, Jalen, get that ball out, brother. Here's Kimberly. I do want O-line and draft.
All came out on time. AJ, be happy.
Yeah, well, I do want O-line in the draft, but I would do it in the later rounds till we know what this offense looks like and who fits.
Well, you're not going to get big-time offensive linemen later.
Now, how much longer do we want to wait, Kim, on addressing Lane Johnson? I mean, God, he is 36 years old now, or whatever he is, 35 or 36. I mean,
and now he just got married. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Kelsey wants him home down in Texas.
Some media company offers him a bunch of money. Who knows?
Yeah, he's on the year-to-year plan. The Eagles know it. He knows it. So, I mean, he might come back next year. He might not. But you got to be ready for it.
JD3 says, is there a chance Casey's Concepcion falls to the second? I think he's a solid 2 for Smitty and is used to play with an off-schedule dual-threat quarterback.
Yeah, there's a shot. He's a bridge pick, I would call him. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes late first, early second. But I don't think he's lasting the 54, so I think he's kind of in no man's land for the Eagles. I like the player. I brought him up early. I haven't heard a ton of interest about the Eagles, but I think he's a good player. He's he's something they haven't had, a true manufactured touch guy who can be a playmaker with the ball in his hands. And they really haven't had that type of player, but they haven't used that type of player, and I'm not sure they would. So, but that, in theory, that would be a better fit for Kyle Shanahan. Deebo Samuel. He's not Deebo Samuel style from a physical presence, but I just mean as manufactured yards after catch guy. But I don't think he'll not in the equation at 23, not going to last to 54.
John, all Eagles fans are guilty one way or another at some point or another of trying to convince themselves that it's all going to work out for the Eagles because of this, because of X, because of Y. I've seen some people perpetuate that they believe that it's actually going to help Jalen to not have to force the ball to A.J. Brown. What is your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to spin it positively, sure.
That's spinning like a top, though, isn't it? I mean, that thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that there's certain people who are gonna just spin everything positively, and I mean,
I am not of the belief that losing.
I'd rather have the good player, but
that's me too. All right, fair enough. Here's Brian Forverts Pumper, who's changed his name after the newest nickname that's been given to Jalen Hurts. If Brian Pumper had $1 for every time Jalen Hurts was the main factor in a win, Forverts Pump would have $1.
I don't think that's the case.
That's not true at all, Pump.
No.
Come on, man. Put some respect on the name. Come on, Pump.
There's so many, and he's partially responsible. Like I always say, he's a unique player. Like he'll play poorly, and then make a couple plays in the fourth quarter and pull a win out of his ass. But no, it's much more responsible than $1. Come on, Pump. I get it. You don't like him. We get it. We get the shtick.
Pump is hilarious. I'm sorry. The guy is funny. All right, good stuff. Thanks everybody for our 6 super chats today. Appreciate all you guys. We're 10 days out from the NFL draft. Things are getting good. in Philly. They're down to what, 8 picks now, right, John? They got rid of their 6th or 5th round pick this year.
5th rounder gone, down to 8 picks. Got 23, 54, 68, 98. So you got 4 in the top 100, 114, 137, 178, 197. They traded 153 for Dontayvion Wicks, plus a 6th-round pick next year.
So they got down to 8. We'll see what they do with the 8. Will they try and move up in round 1? John said he'd be surprised if they stay put. I'm with him, but the question is where they move and how far.
Who do they move for? Who is that player?
I don't know. I think it's a tackle, John. I do. Go up and get your tackle. I don't know who it is, but
who is that player? Well, it's not Jeremiah Love. It's not David Bailey. Could it be Caleb Downs? I don't think so. I don't think it's a defensive player.
Could it be Monroe Freeling?
Could be. He's in the conversation.
That guy looks like he could be the next Lane Johnson. I'm not saying he's ever proven he will be, but he certainly looks like he could be.
Could it be Jordan Tyson? Could it be Carnell Tate? I'd applaud that.
Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate. I'm not in on that, man.
Caden Proctor.
Proctor, I just don't think they're going to move up that far for Proctor. Maybe if they move up to like 20, 18 to 20.
Yeah, I think Detroit's the key with him. You could probably wait for him, but we'll see. Spencer Fanu.
Detroit. Why Detroit? They have Sewell. You think they're going to put him on the other side?
Yeah.
Did they lose somebody there?
Yeah, Taylor Decker.
Oh, that's right, Decker.
So yeah, they're supposedly going to move Sewell to left tackle, and they need a right tackle.
Sewell's pretty amazing. You think he'll be fine at left tackle?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's just good.
Yeah, he's incredible.
So they have some work to do on the offensive line. It's just not a great draft up. Messidor. I don't know. He's old for the Eagles. That's kind of why I dismissed him, to be honest. Right or wrong. But, obviously Reuben Bain was the better player, but, he's a better pro prospect because of Bain's arm length issues. Makai Lemon, I wouldn't go that route. I don't think they'll take one of the safeties, even though I love Dylan Thieneman.
Where do you think he goes? I could see him going to the Cowboys, like 20.
18, Minnesota.
18,
one of the two, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Toledo guy. I would think you got to get above 18, depending on which safety they like. But they could draft a defensive tackle, but all the defensive tackles stink. Sadiq, we talked about a little bit. If you want a weapon, if you call him a weapon, that's what they did with Saquon, remember? Like, what? We're like, why are you paying a running back? He's a weapon. I could see Howie saying that. Why are you taking a tight end? He's a weapon.
We need a weapon for Mannion. I think they're giving Mannion a little love. They bring in Dontayvion Wicks. I think they're showing some support for Mannion, which is a good thing. I think that's what they should do. But
yeah, TJ Parker, not a fan. Kendrick Falk, not a fan for the Eagles. Caleb Lomu, maybe.
Who's your favorite offensive lineman in the draft? Vega?
Yeah, Vega.
How about your favorite tackle?
Probably Mauagoa.
Yeah.
Freeling's got a bigger upside, but he's raw.
He's unproven. Yeah, he's not really a proven player.
Yeah. So I tend to lean on the safer side. I mean, Eagles have had a lot of luck recently. Drafting guys who've been proven players in college too, like have played a lot. So that's been working for them.
Well, we'll see what happens, John. 10 days away from the NFL draft. Your final thoughts here, J-Mac, on a Monday morning edition as we wrap up this show here. An inch closer. Tomorrow will be 9 days. Next week, next Thursday night, is the big NFL draft, the start of it, round 1, and then round 2 and 3 will kick off on Friday evening, and then the full day event on Saturday, which will go rounds 3 through 7 to wrap it up. Johnny Mac, your final thoughts today?
Yeah, maybe got to focus more on day 2. Get some of those guys involved. See how that factors in. Because it's interesting. Talk more about the 30 visits and the themes, and what they're looking for. Because sport picks in the top 100, man, they when they're in that range, they want to get 4 contributors pretty early on.
Well, let's see if they can do it. We'll see. Johnny Mac, good show today, my friend. We will catch up with you tomorrow. Thank you, brother.
All right, see y'all.
All right, thanks, John. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen, joining us here on Birds 365. Great show today. Good Monday morning to everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. All right, we are back here for a Monday edition. We'll have a full week of content across the JAKIB Sports Network. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We inch closer to the 2026 NFL draft, 10 days out. All right, a lot of different ways to go here, folks. The trade of Dontayvion Wicks on Friday, the trade and extension, okay? How does that change your thoughts on what they do in the draft this year? How does it change your thoughts on A.J. Brown? I didn't see my boy Dabney in the chat that I was hoping to hear from him not because I was trying to pick on him at all. That's not my purpose at all. But I do wonder what the thought process is, of people who believe that AJ will be back. I'm kind of in the middle on it. So, I think a lot of signs point to AJ being gone, but I also understand Howie doesn't like to lose trades. And I think when you trade a receiver or a player, at that age who's as talented as he is, you're never going to get equal value back. Right? I mean, the player's old. He's already paid. He's always going to be more valuable to where the player is than than what the team will get back for said player. So it's kind of built in that Howie would lose the trade. So I've always believed there's a chance Howie doesn't want to lose a damn trade. But I don't know, now you trade and extend Dontayvion Wicks. I mean, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, like potentially a draft pick. You're starting to hear more draft people talk about the Eagles drafting a wide receiver. Is that just because, or is that because they're hearing things about the Eagles liking a receiver? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, folks. I'm just saying it does certainly seem like the pile is getting bigger of evidence that the Eagles are going to trade A.J. Brown. It is what it is. Rasputin, I'm hungover. Oh, come on, Rasputin. Brian says, Zander, what a horrible offseason for Howie so far. I can't say it's a great one, Pump. I don't disagree with you. From the AJ deniers I saw, they're convincing themselves they're paying him as a wide receiver 3. Maybe. I doubt that, though. Alfredo says, Zander, I can imagine a world without AJ, not next year, not this year. Don't think it's best for the team. I just don't. Well, Alfredo, I think you're right, dude, but I think you're right. I just how do you reconcile everything that's going on, Ramir, it's a good point. Ramir says, are you really losing the trade if the player doesn't want to be here? Well, Ramir, I think if you view it that way, maybe not, but from a strictly value proposition standpoint, I think you're losing the trade. I think you're losing the trade. So we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing, all right? But overall, good show today, and I'm not exactly sure what they do next week. Just got a text. Give me one second. Sorry, give me one sec. So we'll see what happens there. I agree, Fred. Appreciate it. Here's Keith. We don't have a choice. He hates it here. AJ was acting out last couple of seasons. Goodbye, my guy. Keith, that's kind of where I am, dude. It's like common sense, right? It's like you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to underthink it. The guy's been miserable for 2 years, and now it's come to an end. You know, they're getting receivers. They're preparing for life after AJ Brown. His time here is probably coming to an end. It is what it is. I'm not really going to get caught up on it. Howie's just got to make adjustments to figure it out. Big Mike, what's up, Big Mike? Good to see you, brother. Hope you had a great weekend. Xander, I think Howie extended Wicks because he has traded for other players in the last year of their deal, and they play good and sign elsewhere. Maybe Big Mike, but does that take away some of the built-in desire for a player, to go and earn? We'll see. Tacos asada. That sounds pretty good. Mine. Xander, do you think we go wide receiver first shot? No, I don't. Brian says, get what you can for this drama queen. Hopefully a second. Tell him to touch grass. Maybe. Cut your losses. We'll see. Keith says, we have to move on. Won a Super Bowl with Alshon as our one. We don't need an all-pro receiver. You're right. I think you're right about that. Billy Don says, we all say every year that Howie's having a bad offseason. Then he makes a move pre and during the draft no one expects. Well, maybe, Billy Don. There is a lot more in flux this offseason than there has been the last couple of years. So we'll find out. But all right, guys, I appreciate all you guys tuning in today. I got to run. I got some calls coming up this afternoon. I got to prepare for. So, and I'm behind the 8 ball a little bit. So let me run and get that done. We'll have the full National Football Show today, 2 to 6 p.m. Looking forward to hearing what Sills has to say about everything. So that'll be a good show. I should be on there 3:30 unless he has a guest and he pushes me to 4:30 or 5. But either way, I will be on the show today. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button. All right. Appreciate it. See you next time, everybody.
EAGLES. Eagles.